Hey everybody, and welcome to this Wednesday's MBE Movie News. I'm your host John, here hopefully bringing you some illuminating and hopefully exciting news topics. There's a rather controversial news topic coming in first here. This one's popped up in a wide array of different publications and sources. I think it was broken by one particular chat last night, and if you have clicked on this and you've seen the thumbnail, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's all about HBO Max, the new, well, it was presumed to be thriving streaming service in the midst of this growing streaming battle between all of these huge companies, the likes of Amazon, Netflix, Disney, has made a bit of a blooper. It has not checked through its vast catalogue of movies, I presume. I haven't got it yet. It's not over here in Scotland yet, or the United Kingdom, depending on who your affiliation is here and what your views are on nationality. It's not here, regardless. So I don't know what they've got in terms of movies, but certainly they have not been doing their research. They've not looked through the historical catalogue and checked back for perhaps some controversial moments in their movies, like Disney Plus did many moons ago. And this has led to this momentous moment today. In the midst of Black Lives Matter and all of the protests for equality correctly, they have had to remove Gone with the Wind, of course, the absolute behemoth in the history of Hollywood. This movie, some people are ranking it as the number 4 greatest movie ever created in the history of film. They have had to remove it because it has, and I quote, racist depictions. Now, this was one of the most successful movies in the history of Hollywood, of cinema. I think it's got something like 10 Academy Awards. It is to this day the highest grossing, when adjusted for inflation, movie of all time. It's even higher than the likes of Endgame and Avatar. And of course it goes through the trials and tribulations of a very turbulent romantic relationship between one particular woman and one particular man in the antebellum South. It charts us through pre and during and post Civil War era, and with that comes a number of potholes and some issues. We do see slavery, and in the midst of that pre-Civil War life in the South, we see plantations. And someone must have thought, look, we've got Gone with the Wind on this catalogue. Perhaps we should put in a little bit of warning, maybe some context at the start of this for perhaps people of colour or just other people who are liable to be, or likely to be offended by what they see in some of these dated, very dated scenes in this movie. You would have thought someone would have thought to put that up, but no, they haven't. And now they've put it on, and of course people have perhaps went back and went through the catalogue, because as I'll get into, they are removing movies as we speak from HBO Max, some rather big ones as well. So perhaps people have been getting back and watching this movie, and they've spotted some of the terrible depictions of slavery, some of the terrible moments in this movie involving slaves in general. Look, this is not one of my all-time favourite movies. I have seen it. I think everyone who's a fan of film who's watched Gone with the Wind at some point. It's an all-time classic movie. It's like one of those Charlton Heston style movies from the 1940s and 50s and whatnot. It whisks you back to a bygone era, the golden era of Hollywood, when huge big sets and just a ridiculous amount of extras. Everything was practical. It felt real. It felt palpable. But there is moments in it which are not fit for modern day viewing, let's just say. And as I did say, it isn't one of my all-time favourite movies. I have seen it. It's the type of movie I'd go and watch in my grandfather's house. You'd go to visit him and it would be on the TV. And even then, at a young age, I knew this is slightly dodgy. We've got depictions of slaves and they look very, very happy. It's not like Tarantino, Hateful Eight, where you have one sellout slave, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and a whole mire of misery in the midst around him. No, this is not like this. So, yeah, I mean, I'll get into it right now. Do I feel that they have made the correct decision? Yes, I do. You have to warn people before they go to watch older movies what they're getting into, because we have some easily offended people in this day and age, and I'll get into why I feel that's the case. And there's some people who are not so offended and who would watch this and wouldn't have an issue with it at all, and that's probably me. I'd say it's a little bit dodgy. It's not aged so well. But look, you've got Mel Brooks movies from 30, 40 years ago which were broaching some very dodgy territory when it came to race and other matters. They've not aged very well either, but it's Mel Brooks. He's a great satirist. He's a very funny guy. He's a Jewish man himself who's not scared to poke fun at the Jewish religion. And so that seems to be slightly different. That's put into a different category, whereas this being a sort of epic historical movie. And look, I haven't read the novel either, so I'm probably not the most authoritative person to be speaking about this, but look, I do know that Disney led the way. When they released Disney Plus in the catalogue, and there was lots of old cartoon movies, I want to say, yeah, and maybe cartoons as well, with some dodgy racial issues going on under the surface. I can't recall which ones because I haven't actually watched them. They did open them up with a warning message saying, look, there's some older stuff in here which is not aged that, heavily paraphrasing of course, just warning people what they were getting into in a sense. Again, I keep going back to it, I feel like this is something HBO Max could have avoided if they just went back and checked some of their older movies, realised, look, this is a bit dodgy, some of the modern audiences will not like some elements of this movie, warn them, and then they could have avoided this whole controversy. But I will throw in a little caveat before I move on swiftly, because I feel like it's always a very contentious subject when I speak about things like this. Being Scottish, we don't really have this issue. We just go for the good old-fashioned sectarianism and hating each other over religion. We don't have racism. Well, at least I hope we don't. I'm certainly not racist, and I don't know anyone who is. So it's not a matter which is a real crux in my life, but I understand over in the States and probably other countries it's a burning issue. But you need to have access to things that happened in history, which hasn't been screwed up. Maybe just, I don't know what the terminology would be, but you've not, there's a term over here we say, which I can't really say, but you're not kind of putting a sheen on it. That's probably the best way I can say it. You're not putting a sheen on history. I like to go back and read things like the rise and fall of the Third Reich and read about some of the most horrific people and some of the most horrendous acts that have happened in humanity, to, in a sense, I'll give myself education on it so history will not repeat itself. This is the way that I view things. This is the way I think everyone should view history. You should go back and read about the atrocities, and then you can then arm yourself with, I don't know, a lack of ignorance on the past, and then you will not be doomed to repeat it again and again and again. And I feel like by going down this route with this movie, almost erasing it out of the catalogue, then bringing it back, I understand they're going to bring it back and they're going to put up warning messages, but you don't want to be I'm trying not to go down a rabbit hole here, but in a sense you don't want to be whitewashing history. You want to allow people to learn from the mistakes of humanity and become better, more rounded people for it. But look guys, I'm done. It's going to be back. People will be able to watch it. They'll be able to make their own minds up on it. They'll be able to decide whether it's an absolute atrocity of filmmaking, whether they have wronged slavery and whatnot through that sort of spectrum of that movie. People will be able to make their own minds up. I seen it. I thought it was a bit dodgy. I'm glad they've made the decision. They've finally learned that you have to sort of put things up in front of movies before you actually put them out to modern day audiences, because everyone is different and some people will be offended, others won't. But look, I'm going to move on to a brief little interconnected topic. It's all about HBO Max, and it's coming in from Collider, and they are saying that it's already losing a bunch of live action DC movies. So it's not just Gone with the Wind which is jumping off of the catalogue momentarily. No, we are going to be getting a vast array of DC movies also falling off of this catalogue, and this just, it baffles me. I've read this article a number of times, and even now I still don't quite understand why they're having to rotate some of the biggest DC live action superhero movies in recent years off of their catalogue. They seem to hold the rights to it, but for some reason we have lost the likes of Batman, or we're going to be losing in the 1st of July the likes of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. We're going to lose Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. That's not a loss. That should be erased from the history of mankind, let's be honest. We're going to lose Catwoman, we're going to lose Jonah Hex, and a whole array of other things. All that people will have who are currently on HBO Max, subscribe to it, will be Aquaman, Shazam, Joker, Green Lantern and Supergirl. And again, no one wants to watch Green Lantern. That's a movie which should be erased. I know I've just said we should look back to history and learn from the mistakes of our forefathers and become better, more rounded individuals and cast off the shackles of ignorance, because the best form of getting out of ignorance is education. And but that aside, no one wants to go back and watch Green Lantern, so yeah, just put that to the curb forever, please, HBO Max, before you come here, because no one likes it, not even Ryan Reynolds. But look, What do I make about this? I feel it's very, very strange. I understand that Netflix have a similar setup, but it's more elongated, where they will have movies pop onto their service, TV shows, and then it will pop back off after maybe, I don't know, 6-7 months or something. This service has only been out 1 month, and they're already losing some of the probably biggest draws to this streaming service, and the likes of Batman v Superman, even though it is a bastardised movie, and Wonder Woman, probably the best DCEU movie crafted to date. I find it very, very strange. I don't know what is going on. As I did say, it's just a short little interconnected topic, so I'm not going to linger on it too long. But they're saying essentially it could be something to do with legacy deals with HBO and perhaps other partners who are involved in deals with them, that they have to have them on for a limited period and then they drop off. But to me, it's very, very strange. It's already putting HBO Max at a sort of disadvantage with some of the competitors, the likes of Netflix, Disney Plus, who all do have big draws. They seem to be losing things. And then you've got this controversy over Gone with the Wind, and it's been a terrible, turbulent first month or so for this streaming service. So hopefully things will get better for them. Hopefully they'll learn from the mistakes, like many people have, about reading about history and whatnot, and come and be a better streaming service and maybe go toe to toe with some of the big players that are out just now. But look, guys, I'm going to move on swiftly. No rabbit holes again, because when I start lingering on topics and talking and continuing to talk, then I start to lose words and whatnot, and I go down rabbit holes that I can't recover from. And when you're on your own doing live shows, that's very, very dangerous indeed. So let's move on to this one. It's all about AMC theatres. And apparently they are planning to fully reopen all of their theatres in July, despite, as I did speak about before, losses of upwards of $2.2 billion. There's a quote, it's come in, it's from the CEO of AMC, Adam Aron, and he says that these are truly unprecedented times. We are confident we are taking the necessary steps on a broad array of fronts to ensure AMC's future success as we navigate these turbulent and uncertain times. In the end, AMC will both succeed and prosper, and that was really it. And obviously they are, along with the likes of, I think it's Regal Cinemas and Cinemark, is it, over in the States? And over here, the likes of Cineworld and View and Odeon, planning to open up theatres for the premiere of Christopher Nolan's Tenet, middle of next month. And we've got the likes of Mulan, and as I'll get into very, very shortly, an array of other dazzling movies coming out towards the end of this year, which could be promising for theatre companies like AMC, who have lost a gargantuan sum of money throughout this pandemic, the lockdown, not getting bums in seats, new movies not being released, as it were. This could be a chance for them to potentially recoup a large sum of money if they can get consumer confidence back to where it was, just maybe 75%, it doesn't have to be 100%, and get people flocking to the cinemas to watch movies. This could be an opportunity for them to recoup some of that $2.2 billion loss from the first quarter and gain it back, and maybe it'll not be so big a hit. He says that they will go on and they will both succeed and prosper, and look, I firmly agree with him. These cinemas, or theatres, whatever you want to call them, chains, will not go down the tubes. They will not go out of business. There'll always be another company, perhaps an Amazon, lurking in the shadows to pounce in if they do go under the water briefly, and they will save them. But even then, I don't think that'll even happen. I've spoken time and time again about my love of going to theatres and watching movies as a communal experience with like-minded individuals. It's truly one of these special things. It's an art to behold a movie as it should be on the biggest goddamn screen possible, with the best sound system booming in your ears, the biggest goddamn bag of popcorn and juice or drink that you can get tore into whilst watching it. That is how it should be experienced. Of course, there are movies which you can experience on a tablet or on your TV, and it's okay. But for movies like Tenet and James Bond, No Time to Die, and Dune, and Mulan as well, which looks epic, and some of the other movies, Wonder Woman 1984, which are set to come out towards the end of the year, and did I say June? If I didn't, then June as well. You have to go into a theatre to watch it. So I'm so glad to see that they are planning to open up next month, and that will coincide with Tenet, that we will perhaps have a chance to go and see this great Christopher Nolan movie, because it was up in the air. It could have been delayed until next year, the end of the year, Lord knows. So hopefully things keep going well with this pandemic. The coronavirus buggers off back into whatever hole it came out of, and us film fans, we can get back to watching movies again how they should be experienced. We've not heard anything from Cineworld over here, we've not heard anything from our UK chains over here yet, but I think they are much in the same vein. They are wanting to open up round about July, get bums and seats. We don't know how it's going to be even now. Could it be 50% volume of people going through the doors, 50% capacity I should say, 25% capacity? I don't really care, as long as I can get into a screening of Tenet on the 17th of July, is it? It's coming out 15th. I don't care if there's 20 people with me or 100 people, as long as I'm getting to consume it. I can review it with Stephen, and I can wax lyrically about the brilliance of the cerebral mind that is Christopher Nolan. Then I'm a one happy chappy. But look guys, I did say I would briefly touch upon some of the amazing movies which are set to come out at the end of 2020, and it's truly incredible, and it shows you that there is perhaps still hope for the box office in 2020 for cinema in general. There's hope here. We do have the Broken Hearts Gallery, that's the first movie coming out post-pandemic. Then we've got Tenet coming out July 17th, I was correct. That'll be a change. We've got Mulan coming out a week later, very excited for that. SpongeBob's probably a decent little kid movie. We know kids can't get coronavirus anyway, so they're happily going to be jumping along. Probably their parents will wear masks and whatnot. Wonder Woman 1984 comes out, can't wait for that. Antebellum, I'm speaking about Antebellum South and Gone with the Wind. That looks like fantastic. I think it's Janelle Monáe, I can't recall her name. She was in Hidden Figures, really, really good actress and singer. I think it's her who's playing the lead role. It's a great little horror time warp slip movie. Bill and Ted's coming out, there's a whole array. A Quiet Place Part 2, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Man, The Kingsman's in there. We've got Candyman, I think that's I can't recall who's making that one, but it's a very good director. We've got a whole array of amazing movies coming out at the end of this year, so time is good here if we get rid of the coronavirus for things to turn around for cinemas, and I'm glad, because look, whilst I do champion what Netflix and the other streaming services are doing for cinema, giving new upcoming directors a chance to flourish without pressures of box office failure, I do like the traditional studios and what they bring in the cinemas and the experience of going and watching it. But look guys, I'm going to move on to the third topic in today or tonight's show, depending on where you are. And this one's coming in from comicbookmovie.com. It saved me having to speak about Dracula and how it was a more faithful interpretation of the novel, because I quite frankly have not seen enough Dracula movies to perhaps give my thoughts on that. Some would say I shouldn't have gave my thoughts on Gone with the Wind, the bumbling mess that I was during that topic. I'll not be doing that again on my lonesome. I need Stephen to help me out there. But I certainly am able to speak about Wandavision and the premiere being rumoured to include a familiar scene. They said something distinctly different when I was last looking at this article. They said an iconic scene. They've now backtracked from the Vision comic books. Now look, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 3,000 times. I am not even remotely an absolute out and out nerd when it comes to comic books. I am completely terrified about the vast volume of comic books out there. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I've dipped my toes, but I am nowhere near being an expert like perhaps a great John Schnepp from bygone days, where I could just read about something and I'd know exactly what it is. But I have looked at some strips from this comic book. I'd imagine it's the very first episode of WandaVision, and my god, it looks absolutely fantastic. If this scene is in the premiere of this TV show, then we are getting off to this new era of Marvel MCU storytelling in the medium of TV with a bang. It's featuring Minotaurs. I want to say it's a Minotaur or a bull. We've got Robert Frank the Wizard, and we've got Agatha Harkness. We've got Quicksilver in there, Pietro or Peter Maximoff, and we have got, of course, Vision and Scarlet Witch herself in there, and it's a great big sort of, not the Goonies, what the hell did you call that goddamn TV show from back in the day? I'll never get it, it was way before my time. But it's like a strange coming together in a very 60s, 70s looking house, and they're speaking about how it's great to be back together, that the blood gives us a father and crazy shit like this. The dialogue's a little strange, but I'm just very excited to see that this could perhaps be in. I don't know where this is coming from, incidentally. This is coming from it's coming from some comic book panel spotted in No, that's complete nonsense. I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe Comic Book Movie are pulling out their arse, Lord knows. I hope they're right, because this could be a chance for us to get Quicksilver, and listen, they say at the bottom of the article it could be Evan Peters Quicksilver as well, back in to the Marvel movies. Also going to see this blending into the multiverse of madness. Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange, coming back to perhaps save Wanda Maximoff and perhaps Vision as well. Could this be a way for us to get Quicksilver into the main arc of the MCU again? A different version, not Aaron Taylor-Johnson, but Evan Peters. For me, he was always the best version of that character anyway, so that's something I'd be very excited to see. But I just love the juxtaposition of this comic strip. All these array of strange characters getting together. People that don't even remotely belong in a room together. In the room together. And what's this other guy we've got here? It says Simon Williams, Wonder Man. I don't know who that is. He's not popped up in the MCU, but Lord knows if he appears in this, then I'll be intrigued. But this is giving us a little insight into where this could go. I'm kind of gibbering off here slightly, but giving us a strange little insight into how crazy and slightly dysfunctional this TV show is going to be. We'll be going through different eras. It'll be black and white. There'll be strange visuals. We'll have Vision with strange cardigans and jumpers on. I'm very excited for it, man. I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to see where these TV shows go. Kevin Feige says you have to watch them to keep up with the MCU. That is good enough for me. I'm a watch every single episode that comes out. From this, from Loki, from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, everything and beyond. But look guys, I'm ending this show with a fourth topic, which is interesting. Again, I have no authority speaking about this because I know the man's hits, but I'm by no means a Lionel Richie fan. This is coming in from The Hollywood Reporter, and it says that Disney have a Lionel Richie musical all night long. What else could you call it? In the works all night long. That's something I don't want to be doing here. I don't want to be going all night long. I'm having a mare tonight, I feel. Perhaps you can correct me down below in the comment section if you feel I'm doing okay. But look, it's Pete Chiarelli, who's also worked on Crazy Rich Asians, a fantastic musical that was. Really, really enjoyed that. Some brilliant scenes and big sets and weddings and just shenanigans going on in that movie. Now You See Me Too, I think he perhaps worked on an array of other ones as well, but look, it's in steady hands. Disney perhaps seizing the opportunity here with the sort of renaissance for musicals in recent years. We've seen the likes of Mamma Mia doing extraordinarily well. That was a while back though, but Mamma Mia 2 didn't do quite so well. Here we go again, I think it was. But the likes of La La Land, The Greatest Showman, also Rocket Man, to a lesser extent Bohemian Rhapsody, all musical heavy movies, all doing very well at the box office, picking up Oscars as well. Perhaps they see this as a chance to slip in the door of the musical genre. They're no strangers to it. I mean, the likes of Moana and all of the other classic animated movies feature degrees of musicality in there as well, so certainly not something they are strangers to. But look, I'm, as I said, not the biggest Lionel Richie fan in the world, but certainly the man could sing, he could dance, and he had some amazing hits back in the day. And if what they say, it's not going to be an actual biopic musical, but instead a more Mamma Mia style musical, where you have an array of characters coming in and they're performing to his hits throughout a sort of arcing story that features them all, then why not? Why not capitalise on the growth of the musical genre? I'm doing a lot of big theatrical hand movements here. And look, he's a great guy, and I wish it success. That's all I can really say. I'm going to end it on that note. I'll finish with this. He did work with the Commodores, of course. And you look at some of the hits the man had all night long. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? See you, see me. Endless Love, Dancing on the Ceiling, a great song, man. We Are the World as well, he co-wrote with Michael Jackson, so he has the hits to fill out a musical like Mamma Mia. Maybe not as prolific as ABBA, but he has the hits. And I hope Disney and I hope Lionel make a success of it, and I hope obviously your man Pete Chiarelli as well makes a success of it, but ultimately it will come down to the cast and who they can attract into this Lionel Richie musical. That will determine the fate of this movie. But look guys, I'm going to round up the show on that note. What's your thoughts on the whole Gone with the Wind controversy? Do you feel like me? I'll try and word it better this time and not get myself all discombobulated. That, as a human race, that we can only grow when we learn from past mistakes in history, educate ourselves on what has came before, and grow and be better individuals and respect everyone from it. Do you agree with me that perhaps they should just pop it back on with a disclaimer and all will be well? What's your thoughts on the movie itself? Do you think it was racially insensitive? Do you think it was okay? Are people being a little bit precious? I personally think they're not. I think it's not a movie that's aged all that well. It's 80 years old now. Should have put a disclaimer up. What's your thoughts on the array of other topics I spoke about, the AMC theatres opening up perhaps as early as next week? What's your thoughts on the Wandavision TV show, and do you want to see a Lionel Richie Mamma Mia style movie being a thing? If you have anything to say at all, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it. I'm seeing a comment, but it's too late to read it. And you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you do, then you'll see me again tomorrow with Stephen. Or perhaps I'll not dig myself quite as big a hole with some of the topics. And if you do, you'll see us. See you after.